Hey, how's it going, everybody? First video of sorts. I wanted to make this. I'm fresh on the heels of returning from Wrestlecon. I actually went Friday, flew into New Jersey. Super easy, by the way. I got lucky on the return flight, which you don't care about. But if you're not familiar, Wrestlecon was Friday and concluded today, Saturday. I'm watching SummerSlam right now. But I went there, and obviously, you have wrestling signings, toys, all kinds of different things, memorabilia. And I wanted to record this and show you guys. I was fortunate enough. They had Matt Cardona there, as well as Kanik, or Kanik, is actually really called, selling big rubber guys, as well as Matt doing some signings there as well. Now, I've already have a few things already signed from the major pod, so I wanted to take this out of the package, and so I didn't get this one signed. But long story short, and I didn't realize at the time that this was a convention exclusive, as you can see here. Get it to focus. 1 of 500 made. These were selling like hotcakes there, and he was signing a ton of them and doing really cool red, white, and blue signing with the paint markers. But I wanted to show this video specifically because if you've ever been on the fence of buying or jumping into the big rubber guys line of toys, I thought this would be a great opportunity to kind of talk about it and how I wasn't going to buy this originally. This was a little bit more expensive than some of the ones that they had on sale there. And that is because it was, of course, the convention exclusive. But I'll go into some of the detail on the figure and just from a sculpting standpoint, how cool it is. Now, if you're not familiar with these at all, if you've grown up around wrestling, or even if you're not familiar with it or you're of a certain age, before the Hasbro toys, Series 1, here for you. Before the Hasbro toys, you had what were called the LJN line. And if you just watched anything from, Comic-Con, you can see that Mattel is now into the LJN line. So I think that's on the heels of the popularity of the big rubber guys. AEW flirted with it for, I want to say they released 2 or 3 figures. I know I personally have Cody Rhodes, Darby Allin, and I think I have the CM Punk. I can't think of any others that actually came out in the set. But around that same time, I think they had started to get going as well. And they've always, if you're a fan of the Major Pod, you know that they, or at least Matt specifically too, these were his introduction to the wrestling figure game as well. So with that said, when I was a kid, I came in very much at the tail end of that from a fan, and I started more towards the Hasbro. My cousin did have the LJN guys, but they were all rocked. And mostly because they were incredibly well played with. Even the ring was like, incredibly worn down, and all the toys had either chew marks or paint smudges, or just it disappearing from just wear and tear. But either way, so I was never really into them as much as I was the Hasbros, and obviously the Hasbros had more playability in my opinion from a function standpoint, as well as some of the action features. But long story short, I wanted to make this because if you've been on the fence about jumping in, I think this is the perfect figure to kind of give you an understanding of like what to expect. And I'm going to take this out of the package, and that's one of the beauties of the major products. In fact, they have a lot within the major line. I was lucky to get this signed by Francine. This is the Bloody Chase. It's a little bit dim because it's in the Fig Defender here from Major Bendy's. But I got the Francine Bendy. So they do a lot of different figures. But I'm super impressed, and I wish I had kind of caught on earlier to these, because now to find some of the ones from the past is going to be very expensive. But I do have some pre-ordered as well. I have the Missy Hyatt that should hopefully come within maybe a couple of months. And then I pre-ordered, now that they're partners with AEW, I ordered the Tony Storm, and I think I'm probably going to jump in on that Sting now that I saw a lot of these live yesterday in person. I do have a couple So we'll go through those quickly as well. So I have their, let me move him out of the way so you can see him. So this is what they call their Evergreen Macho Man. You can still get him, and he's going to be on Ringside Collectibles, as well as probably collectmajor.com. Little paint scuff on the nose, but that's kind of how it came, unfortunately. But this is awesome. And the cool thing about these guys as well, if you're familiar with the LJNs, is they would never really stand extremely well. So all of these stand awesome. You can buy, they sell stands for them where you can slide their feet into them. You can also get them on Etsy, third party for the LJNs. They'll fit for these as well. But it's cool that you don't really need that accessory as well. You can see in the background here, I got my Chelsea keychain style. What the hell are those called? Big Shot, signed by Chelsea. Bought that off of Matt's Whatnot. But anyway, I digress. So that's my Macho Man. And then the second one I jumped in on that just came in about maybe like a week and a half ago is the Macho King. Now, this is one where I was like, damn, this is impressive. Number one, the sculpt, the face looks awesome. The body, the, like even these lines within the costuming are sculpted in. So very cool. The scepter is fun. And then the crown. And then, I'm sorry I'm doing this all with the one hand, but all of these accessories as well can be removed. So you can take them on and off. And again, my man stands without any issue. So Macho Man seems to have a license with everybody in the world right now, but I think Major, in my opinion, does them best. And I think Zombie Sailor's retros are also pretty sweet. And then I'll show one more at the end that I also got at the convention. But yeah, let's take a look at some more of the finer details. I mean, just looking at this, so I believe he wore this gear last night at a GCW event where he tagged with Tommy Invincible and Mark Sterling against Shotzi and her team. I don't know who she had on her team. But from a packaging artwork, D-Freedom, no, sorry, not D-Freedom, but the guys over there, they do an amazing job. TTD Wrestling. He does a lot of I think all the design, and then the sculpting is just incredible. I wonder if they give it credit on the back. I don't think they do, but I'll show you the back as well because you can see how long and how far they've come along. And I am going to pull this dude out, so stay tuned here. But the deco looks cool. It's extremely readable, clean. The sunglasses, the hair, the expression on the face. I mean, the sculpting on that is awesome. And when we get him out of the package, you'll be able to see it. But even like the body sculpting, I just showed you Macho Man. And I'm sure he probably said, hey, make me as ripped as possible. And not that he's not a ripped dude, obviously. But even like the detail in terms of like the sculpted hair and stuff like that, I thought it was amazing. And I was excited to jump on it. And again, for comparison, Macho Man. And Macho Man wasn't like an overly ripped up dude. This is, I think, a perfect depiction of like what his body style was and everything. And then, of course, Macho Man on the back. And like I said, you can still get this at Ringside and Collect Major. I think it's what they call their Evergreen line. So it will be available to you for the longest. I am going to quickly pause and get him out of the package, but let me show you that really fast. So the cool thing, as they know from a collecting standpoint, there's a lot of people who do on-card. Obviously, an on-card obviously means keeping it in package. And then there's a lot of folks who do like to do loose collecting, but this gives you the option based on how they have it set up so that you just kind of pop the tabs at the top and you can slide the card back out. And this is good too because I'll give you a shot at the back of the card. Look how many people are already in the line at this particular point, and you can see all the exclusives listed here. This is up to date with the most recent one with the Wrestlecon exclusive. That's this one. They've previewed or shown a ton of these already, and a lot of these are in store. Or for example, you can see here in the middle, the Animal and Hawk. Sorry, I'm shaking here a little bit. The Animal and Hawk Big Bad Toy Store exclusives, but a ton of different options, different eras as well. So if you're looking to, combine the past with some of the new folks as well. I'll show you that here in a second. With guys like Danhausen, you now have that option. But a lot of like throwbacks, obviously. So as you go down these lists, with the exception of probably, Matt and Brian, and Shotzi, who I do. Oh, Shotzi, I have Shotzi pre-ordered as well. Excited for that. For the most part, a lot of these are going to be like, that would fall maybe more into your legends, of course. So very cool, nice thick carding as well. Set that aside, and then you can see and get a shot of the back here. Actually, let me just go ahead and take them out. So you got the protective cover, super simple. And then we'll pull this bad boy out, and we'll move that aside. So here he is out of the package, and this is awesome. This is the first time I've taken it out, and the first time I could see like the kick pads and the knee pads, the deco and everything here is extremely quality. Sorry. Very nice. Super, super clean. Even the buttock here, the butt, always USA. That's pretty sweet touch. The complete Matt Cardona logo here on the back with the USA bandana. And then, of course, his gear. And then the one side sleeve with the flag. So, extremely cool. Back of the headshot here. But, I mean, just look at all the sculpting. And that's the beauty, too, of... Once more, a shot of the body, which is awesome. But that is the beauty, again, of something within this scale, is that you're able to capture, these types of details. And even though there is certainly, I don't say a cartoonish effect to a lot of these, there is an incredible level of realism. And they're weighted heavily as well. I mean, they're really strong. And again, the stand test, he stands just fine. So if you are on the fence or thinking about getting these guys, let me take a snapshot of that. That might be the cover there. Then I was hoping this was going to be useful for you as well. But this is an incredibly well done, and he's of course not giving he's given the middle finger, of course. But extremely well done, very cool figure. Super excited about this line. I almost picked up the Ric Flair and kind of regret that I didn't. But super happy to have this guy in my collection now. And I may, like I said, I'm going to display him loose, but I'm going to keep the package in the event that one day I maybe get it signed. Who knows? But very glad to have this and very excited that they were there. Now, the last one that I'll show you quickly, and I will be keeping this in the package more than likely, and that is... And this bad boy was just released recently. There may be still a few up on collectmajor.com as well. This is personalized as well. I like to do that because I don't know. I have a weird thing about getting things signed. And you see this at Wrestlecon and any convention that you go to. I get things signed for me. I don't get things signed for resale. I can't think of anything I've ever sold that I've had signed. And I like to get it personalized for myself. So to me, when I ask for it to be, signed, personalized, to me is assuring them, I think. And this is just a stupid mental game, that I'm getting it for me, not just to resell. But he had these, fortunately, at his booth as well. Give you a little bit of a shot here. I know if you've listened to the Wrestling Figure podcast, Matt was not stoked about this gear. It's very Hitman-esque, obviously, but you got the teeth instead of the hearts. They're red instead of pink, but you got the cool Danhausen face teeth logos up and down, up and down. And then on the boots, if I can capture it a little bit, you have the spiral. I forget what that's called. But his logos and everything. And then, of course, like his tattoos are captured as well. Not full color, but that would be intense and amazingly expensive, probably. So this is still really, really cool and different as well, because a lot of his figures are basically kind of not the same, but very, very similar. So very happy to have this guy in my collection. And a super nice guy if you ever have a chance to meet him as well. And a cool drawing and signature here as well. So yeah, again. And the back on this one's a little bit different. It doesn't have the full checklist, but you can see some of the other ones in the line, which the other one just doesn't depict. So you can see you got the Matt and Brian's, Demolition, of course, Sergeant Slaughter, Marty, Rick. There's a couple of Ricks in the series. Andre, Macho Man, which we just talked about. They have the orange trunks. The pink, which I have, is what they consider their evergreen, so you can kind of get those at any particular point, hopefully. The Bulldogs with Matilda, which is awesome, and they hold her extremely well. Hacksaw, again, Legion of Doom, Hawk and Animal, Matt Hardy, Ethan Page, more current gentlemen as well. Barbarian, Warlord, Dusty, Magnum TA, Rick, Harley Race, Jeff Hardy, which is a cool figure as well. Another one awesome to get signed. Matt and his crown. The Brawler, Brian Myers again. The Macho King, which I just shared with you. And then Danhausen here. Not depicted, of course, as some of the newer ones that are coming out pretty soon. And then, of course, all the wave that was featured up on San Diego Comic-Con. So thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions or want to see anything else. And again, I still owe you guys a little bit of a tour. We're on commercial now. Roman Reigns and Jay just beat Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. And then, of course, I got the rest and the Chelsea title as well. But hey, thanks for tuning in. Have a great night. Enjoy the rest of SummerSlam.